Sadness is the emotion that most people run from the fastest. So we distract ourselves, we numb it with scrolling, food, alcohol, shopping, endless busyness, anything but sitting with it, right? Why? Because sadness forces you to feel the depth of your humanity. So it's heavy, it's raw, it's being vulnerable, and it feels like a weight on your chest. But the thing is, sadness is not your enemy. Sadness is just another invitation to look within. It's your body and soul saying something here matters, something needs to be felt, something needs to your attention, something needs to be honored by you, something needs to be looked at. And the problem is that we've been conditioned to believe that sadness is weakness, right? Especially for men, especially in a world that glorifies good vibes only, right? High frequency only. Sadness gets labeled as negative. But emotions are not positive or negative, they're just data. Sadness is not weakness, sadness is truth. The purpose of sadness is that it reveals where you've been hurt, obviously, where there's been loss, or where something meaningful hasn't been met. Sadness helps you slow down and turn inward and reevaluate for you what matters most. Sadness does create depth. Without sadness, joy would just feel shallow, right? There's no difference in degree, there's no opposite. The contrast gives your life richness and texture. So I want you to think about it. The most profound joy you've ever felt probably came after sadness, after a loss, after struggle, after obstacles, after a storm that you thought you couldn't survive, after a low that you thought you couldn't get out of. Sadness cracks you open so that joy has a place to pour in. Now, what is the danger of avoiding sadness? When you suppress sadness, just like any other emotion, it doesn't go away. It lingers, it holds on, it festers, it lodges itself in your body, and it turns into heaviness and depression and chronic stress and even physical illness at some point in time, right? It hardens your heart and it disconnects you from yourself completely. You don't know who you are anymore. So when you numb sadness, you also numb joy because joy is here, sadness is here. They're opposites, but they are the same thing, just different degrees, right? Different vibrations. You cannot selectively shut down emotions. If you block one, you block them all. That's why people who avoid sadness often feel flat and unfulfilled and avoid and restless, right? They've muted their entire emotional spectrum. So, how do you alchemize that when that happens? First, the obvious one, you need to let yourself feel it fully. Stop running, stop numbing, stop distracting yourself, stop feeding yourself bullshit. Give yourself permission to cry and to grieve and to sit in the heaviness and to just feel it, to journal it, write it out, to talk to someone, to verbalize it. Tears are not weakness, they are a release. They literally carry stress hormones and toxins out of your body, right? It's biological. Crying is literally medicine. That's why you feel so good after crying. That's why sometimes you even have an after cry glow, right? Then the second thing is you need to put words to it. So write it down, journal. What am I sad about? What am I feeling? What loss am I grieving? What happened? What expectation wasn't met? All the things. Naming your sadness gives it form, and what has form can be released, right? It's not the main tool, it's not journal and that's it. Sit with it. But naming your sadness gives it form, and then you can release it. You have more texture to it. Create rituals for release. So you can light a candle, write a letter you never sent, create art, move your body, whatever feels authentic to you. Rituals give sadness kind of a container so that it doesn't swallow you whole. And it kind of gives you an opportunity to let it flow and move through your body. And all of these exercises, all of these tools help you transform that raw heaviness into some kind of expression, right? So, whatever feels authentic to you, find a ritual and do it. Then lean into support if you need to. Sadness often isolates you, right? Because you want to be alone, you want to numb and distract and hide away, but connection is very healing. So let yourself be held by people you trust. Speak your sadness instead of burying it. Or you don't even need to talk about it, but just be in the presence of someone else that loves you. You don't need fixing, you just need someone that listens or someone that witnesses you in that feeling, right? Then reframe it as sacred. Because instead of asking, how do I get rid of this sadness? What is this sadness trying to teach me? What lesson can I learn here? Sadness is often guiding you back to truth, right? To what you value and to what needs healing, to what you're ready to let go of. So explore that. Sadness is meant to move through you and not live inside of you, not stay stuck. So the danger is letting sadness harden into that hopelessness and that despair and depression and anxiety and victimhood. Sadness can very much deepen you, but if you identify with it, it can also drown you. This is where action comes in. So you need to feel the sadness and have compassion, have self compassion, release it, and then when you're ready, take even the smallest step back toward life. Don't build your identity around being the sad one. Build your strength by moving forward with sadness as part of your story, not the whole of it, right? You need to understand that sadness is not the end. It's just a bridge and it's the transition from what was to what's next. Okay, you just move on. Every time you allow yourself to feel sadness fully, you clear up space for deeper joy and deeper gratitude and deeper connection, and it's easy to move on. So it's just another emotion that is another proof that you care, right? That you're alive, that your heart is open enough to feel the full spectrum of what it is to be, what it means to be human. So stop running from it, stop numbing it, and let it wash over you. Let it cleanse you. Let it feel it fully. Let it reshape you and rise from it stronger and softer and more intentional and wiser and more expanded. Okay, more whole.